Good morning, everyone. This is Judge Middleton at 3B District Court in Centerville. Good morning to you all. Today is Monday, the 17th of May, 2021. And I'm going to leave the live chat on this morning. And some of you may have heard that someone else made a post that we are going to be stopping our YouTube live feed effective essentially today. We didn't live feed on Friday. And I wanted to offer a little explanation and some thanks. I received a phone call last Wednesday from the State Court Administrator's office, and judges in Michigan, we work for the Supreme Court, and each judge is part of a region, and the regions have administrators which are helpful, and there are connections between our local court and the Supreme Court. I got a phone call on Wednesday, I guess we'll say strongly suggesting that we stop our YouTube live feed. They took pains to indicate they couldn't order it, but it was directed essentially to stop the live feed. The next day I got an email from someone who doesn't live in the county, but said I was an embarrassment to the county and to the court. And then later a colleague advised me I'd been doing it wrong all along, the YouTube. And essentially everything I've been doing as a judge for 18 years, I was doing wrong. This morning I got a phone call, someone left a message on our answering machine that I was deplorable. So I guess it's hard to please everyone, certainly. But the Supreme Court are the ones that told us to start the YouTube live feed some year ago. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, if they're the ones that told me to start it, I guess I should listen to them when they tell me to stop it. I asked if there were other courts that were having this issue, and I was told, no, it's just you. So you may be able to find other courts that are live streaming, but we will be ending ours. As a practical matter, courts in Michigan are close to opening up, and with the governor's proclamation last week, it sounds like we're getting closer to that time. We also got some information from our Supreme Court administrator saying, wait a bit to see. But at any rate, we're not very far from just having a court like we used to have. As a historical perspective, when the COVID situation hit last spring, March, April, May, things were at almost a standstill. Many courts just shut down. We managed to continue to operate with a skeleton staff, but the Supreme Court had purchased Zoom licenses for every court in the state of Michigan. So in that respect, they were ahead of the game. And then it became imperative that we use them. So we were given instruction on how to use Zoom, how to set up our own YouTube channel, and begin to broadcast our proceedings out into the public. So that was started probably in May of 2020. And we were just doing that all last summer and fall, and some people were watching our channel, maybe a few local people who worked in the courthouse, people that lived here in St. Joe County. We were just doing what we'd been directed to do, and we were conducting court like we do every day. Then this year in March, with the circumstance where the young man was in the house with someone he'd been ordered to not have contact with. That took off and went viral and ended up on the front page of Reddit, and that pointed out some other problems. And then we started to take note of the live chat, and much of it was fine and some of it was not. And so the Supreme Court directed us to turn off the live chat, not just us, but everyone. So it's kind of cumbersome to do it. You have to go through about 15 steps every time you turn on the live feed to shut off the live chat. And I know now that there is a community of people that watch our proceedings, both from here in St. Joseph County and frankly all over the world. I received a lot of nice comments from people in New Zealand and Scandinavia and Nottingham, England, and Parma, Ohio, and Seattle, Washington, and Canada, and Australia, and just for reasons I don't completely understand, we'll speak to in a minute, people have been watching the channel. So it has more than 14,000 subscribers right now. And then there developed a subreddit regarding Zoom Court, which has a lot of our content. And that has, I'm not sure, 20,000 subscribers. And then we had a couple other cases that went viral, including our recent case with Mr. 2,999 and 9/10, who posted an inappropriate screen name, and that went viral also. And it was after that that I got the call. And as I indicated, we're not very far away from just having our courts open, and the courts would be like they used to be. If you wanted to watch a court proceeding, you could come in and watch it. So this, I guess, was an experiment in transparency and public acknowledgement of what we're doing in our courts. Once we turned it on, everything we did was subject to the greater public scrutiny. Now, certainly, we make a record every day. All our proceedings are recorded, and there's a record made of each proceeding. And but it wasn't broadcast out into the world, and the content wasn't taken by others and used for other purposes. There's one inherent flaw in this whole process. I'm all for transparency and allowing people to see how our courts operate, including my court. I'm not ashamed of anything I did here in court. That's how we try to conduct our business here in St. Joseph County. But the inherent flaw in the process is that nobody asked the litigants what they thought about it. Nobody asked the domestic violence victims or the young girl charged with shoplifting or somebody that got arrested for drunk driving or someone that's got a prelim on a methamphetamine charge or something as simple as driving without a license. Nobody asked them, what do you think about being broadcast on YouTube and having 1.5 million hits? So that's the downside of this. There was an excellent article, probably the best article written so far about this, was in Vice magazine by an author named Gita Jackson. It's entitled, Zoom Court Videos Are Making People's Darkest Hours Go Viral. And talks about the struggle between transparency and privacy. I thought the article was fair and balanced and well written. She asked to speak to me and I declined and referred her to the Supreme Court, and they did address the issue. I've not spoken to anyone from any media. I haven't talked to the local newspapers, the television stations, Court Call, Inside Edition, I don't know, people that called and wanted an interview. I haven't granted an interview. Everything I say here on the record, I guess, speaks for itself. I don't have a television show. I'm not looking to have a $44 million syndication deal. We don't make any money off of these videos, although it's troubling to me. Someone, I guess YouTube, has monetized some of these videos and they have advertisements in them. And that certainly is distressing. We didn't set out to become YouTube stars. We were just doing our court. And we are where we are now. As I indicated, the Supreme Court were the ones that told us to do this in the first place. So I guess I should follow their instruction when they tell me to stop. So we will stop. And as indicated, I've left the live feed on, the live chat on for today for one last time. I have a lot of people to thank that you don't see. My staff is behind me, preparing the files, answering my responses, filling my requests. We have an excellent court administrator that runs the behind-the-scenes operations of our court. Here in the courtroom, I'm the only one here. There's no court reporter, there's no clerk, there's no moderator, there's me. And so I'm starting and stopping the recording. I am starting and stopping the YouTube, the Zoom, the Polycom, and there's a lot going on. But I want to thank my staff for all the help they give me day in, day out. We have about 17,000 cases in our little county. My colleague judges here in St. Joseph County, I thank them. I exchange information with them almost every day. And we have an excellent group of judges here in St. Joseph County. At least one of them, I believe, is going to continue to live stream. But as I indicated here, I've been asked to stop. I also want to thank my wife and my family. My wife, who gets stopped on the street every day saying, "Hey, we saw your husband on YouTube," and she won't have to put up with that anymore. I don't know if it's all negative, but most people had nice things to say. She's been very supportive about all this. And my sons, who are much more technologically savvy than I am, are out there sometimes sending me links and stuff I didn't need to see, including the Zoom subreddit. Anyway, I thank my wife and my family. And the lawyers that appeared here in our court, Deborah Davis appears quite regularly, and she does interact somewhat with the people in there. She's been assigned to my court. She's very professional. I appreciate having her here. I think a lot of people watched the videos because they liked her. That's okay too. But she is, just like me, here doing our business. I haven't done anything differently than I did before I turned the YouTube on or after I turned it off. And St. Joseph County is a little county. In Michigan, people do this. They hold up their hand, and St. Joseph County is over here in the southwest corner on the Indiana border. We have about 65,000 people, and if you want to know more about St. Joseph County, I'd suggest a couple of books you might want to read, which are Gentle and Genteel by an author who lives just a few miles from me named Tom Springer. I've recommended some of these books before. His most recent book is called Star and the Sycamore. His earlier book is called Looking for Hickories. And they're just little essays about living here in southwest Michigan and St. Joe County. And you may enjoy them, maybe not. Anyway, I didn't set out to be a YouTube star. As I said, some people think it's deplorable. Other people have been very thankful and complimentary. I've been contacted by law students, law schools. There are a number of people that are watching this daily who are either lawyers or paralegals or other legal professionals that are watching it. And I've been invited to speak at one or more cyber conferences. I'm not sure what to call them, and I've respectfully declined. This is just me doing my job. I suppose now that we stop, maybe I'd be willing to speak about it, but I have not. As I said, no interviews, no posting, just doing this every day. So people may think that St. Joe County is, I'm not sure, someone said I was embarrassing the county. We don't audition people to come into the court, they just come when they come. And we try to treat them with respect and dignity and try to take care of their legal business. So we aren't like Green Acres or a bunch of people like Eb Dawson, or we aren't the casting call for Winter's Bone with our methamphetamine problems. We're just people. And ultimately, that's who I work for. Our people, these people, the battered spouses, the child abuse victims, the retail fraud defendants, the drunk drivers, the people struggling with methamphetamine addiction, the embezzlers, the car thieves, the victims. Those are the people that I work for. I don't work for the Supreme Court. I don't work for a commission. I don't really work for St. Joe County. They pay my salary, which I appreciate, but ultimately I work for the people that live here in Michigan, including sovereign citizens who may not believe I have jurisdiction over them, but I work for those people. And I think some of these have become embarrassing, perhaps humiliating to the people that have elected me to office 8 times. So when it all comes down to that, that certainly needs to be taken into consideration. I'd like to thank some other people, the people that did cover this. There's a young lawyer named Natalie Burrell who has a website, and she covered a couple of our videos, and I thought treated them fairly. But again, one of the concerns was that people were using this for entertainment rather than education. As I mentioned, I don't have a show or an offer for a show. At one point, a friend did try several years ago to market some sort of St. Joe County reality show. No one was interested, but that was what this was. This was a reality show that was reality. And it gave people a slight window into how the judicial system works here in 2021 in Michigan and in St. Joseph County and maybe the rest of the world. So I think we'll end up as a historical footnote when people look back at what happened during COVID shutdown and the Zoom era of the court. But as I indicated, very soon we're going to just be court, and we're going to be open. We will still use Zoom, I'm sure, for many things, but I don't think we'll be live streaming. I'm not sure if anyone will be live streaming soon, but as I indicated, there are still other judges who are live streaming at this point. So we will not be. In just a few minutes, I have a busy docket of civil cases. I have some misdemeanor sentences in a few minutes, and a busy landlord-tenant afternoon. the people that I work for expect me to be here all day, every day, and conduct their business fairly and efficiently and appropriately. So that's what we'd like to try to do. I thank you all for watching. I thank you for the many, many, many positive comments. I've received cards and emails and other messages. I guess for everyone that thinks I'm deplorable, there are some people that thank us for sharing our proceedings with them. So I wish you the best of luck. I'll still be here. I've been here since 1980, and if I finish this term, it'll be 5.5 more years for a total of 48 years. So I appreciate all the people that I work with, lawyers, the staff here at the courthouse, and I thank you for watching our videos, commenting on them, having an opinion, and maybe learning something about the judicial process and how it works, at least here. So with that, I say...
Pause for a second, this is huge. Judge Middleton is basically announcing the end of one of the internet's most unexpectedly viral live streams. Think about it, during COVID, courtrooms suddenly became open to the entire world. And while it revealed how justice works, it also exposed real people during some of the worst moments of their lives. So, what do you think? Should courts stay live streamed for transparency? Or is it a privacy nightmare waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts below down arrow.